been like a month, probably. I can't remember. So a lot's happened. Oops, sorry. Went off frame there. A lot's happened. I bought a lot of stuff. Gotten some progress. Yeah, so let's get into it. So I think first things first, we're going to show my finishes and FFOs. I had a couple of them this time, so I'll go with the smaller one. So this was actually a new start and a finish and an FFO. It's called Mermaid from the Just Cross Stitch August 2020 edition. I started it last week, I think. I think it was last week, and then I ended up finishing it. There's the back of her. She's quite cute, and I think I'm going to stitch her again, but I'm going to change her skin and make her a person of color. My thought, and I think I'm going to utilize the skin chart. What is it called? Like the skin chart graph thing. The guy's name is escaping me, but there's a big spreadsheet of different skin tones and stuff. So I think I want to stitch her a couple more times, but different skin tones, and just do like a whole little series of those because it was super quick and I thought it was super cute. Then the last finish I had in FFO is this. This is God Save the Queen by Annie B's Folkart. I don't know why it sat in my whip pile for so ever. God, I can't even talk today. I don't know why it sat in my whip pile for so long. I'd gotten a fair bit done and then just stopped working on her. So I'm glad I pulled her out and got the finish. She's cute. I love her. So there's that. That's it for finishes. I think I'll talk a little bit about haul and purchases. But before I kind of like slide into that, I'm going to show a commissioned piece. So I bought this fabric and did a dye job for this guy right here. It's a mouse. And Zeb, she fell in love with the fabric and asked if I wouldn't mind doing the same for her, except bigger, so she could put a mirror. And I said sure, found the fabric, bought it. I'm still waiting on that fabric, by the way. Went to a different seller, 123 Stitch. They had the fabric, had it to me within a couple of days, and here we are. So I got it dyed. I'm going to move it around. I don't know how much of it can fit in frame. It's a fat half piece, so I mean it's quite large. But I love it, and Zeb fell in love with it, so I'm so happy. It made me so happy to dye it. I've been really enjoying the dyeing process. Now I can understand why like FortNite Fabrics and everybody, dyes fabric. It's so much fun to see something come to life that you are creating. So there's that. Then, other purchases. I bought, actually, I'm going to do the freebie one first. So, and then I'll do the ones that I bought. So the freebie ones, or the freebie one, there was one, is the Schoolhouse Primer Lesson from Stone Street Stitch Works. And it's just a little sampler. Quite awesome. If I'm not mistaken, the sampler came out of the New England Primer book. And so it's got the history, and I thought it was really cool. So there's that. They were offering it for free this week, so by the time this video is up, it may no longer be free. Don't quote me on that. So I do apologize. I'm not doing this video in time, probably, for most of you to get that. Then the other things I bought this, and you'll actually see it in my whips. Ooh, glare. It's called the All Hallows Eve sampler. She's a big girl. She's very pretty. It is by, who is it by? Joan Elliott. I should have known that. It's by Joan Elliott. Quite amazing. It's got a sticker here, so I remembered what fabric I was doing her on, and I'm doing her on 32 count Murky Lugana from Picture of This Plus, or PTP, I guess is what they're being called now. But there's that. So I bought that. Bought all the flosses and stuff, and the fabric. So you'll get to see that in my whips. That one couldn't travel alone, as we all know, right? So I ended up, I think it was that one. Might be a different one. Pretty sure it was that one. Anyway, so I also bought this one, the Blackberry Rabbit. I've never heard of that brand, or that designer. The Blackberry Rabbit, and this one's called Be Different. I think with everything going on in the world today, this kind of resonated with me because I've always been kind of made fun of for being a little awkward, a little eccentric, a little different than everybody else and not fitting in. And so this kind of harkens to that desire to have my differences celebrated rather than chastised. And I love that the one that's different is blue. Blue's my favorite color, so I think it was all meant to be. I'm probably going to dye fabric for it. Or I might do the called for. The called for is the Hive Linen by Fabric Flair. I'm not sure. I might just follow the advice and be different and do my own thing. That is to be determined. Then the other thing I bought, so this one's got a backstory too. It's Lavender and Lace. I've always loved Lavender and Lace. For those that don't know, if you're new to the community or you've never heard of Lavender and Lace, it is Marilyn Levitt Emblem, and she is the mother to the beloved Nora Corbett, who does Nora Corbett designs and the Mirabilias that most, if not all of us, are familiar with. So way back when, I started stitching when I was probably about 8 years old. Started with little tiny kits that I could get at Walmart or Michael's, Joann's, you know, that kind of thing. Way back in the day, right? So I'm talking like the little like $2 or $3 kits that my mom would buy me because if I messed it up or I lost it, it was only a couple bucks. It wasn't super expensive. Fast forward, I still did kits. And for the longest time thought the only way to stitch was if you got a kit or if you bought one of the cross-stitch books or magazines at the craft store and then kitted it up right then and there. I thought you had to buy the linen or the Ada from the craft store, all the DMCs, and do it that way, right? So for the longest time I did it that way until, I don't even remember, 8 years ago, something like that. Stepped foot, my very first time, in an actual LNS here locally for me, which is CNC, or CC, however you say it. CC Company, I think, is their name. And they're out of Blue Springs, Missouri, so for those that don't know, I live in Kansas City, Missouri, which is has a huge metropolitan area spanning 2 states, Kansas and Missouri, and they happen to be located on the Missouri side. So I went in, absolutely awestruck. They had a Christmas room, fell in love, bought a couple designs. Anyway, so fast forward, I'm looking around this whole shop, and this gal is up on the wall. Fully finished, framed in a similar frame that's pictured here, you know, a gold kind of gilded frame. She's looking majestic. Her sisters are there, so, you know, there was the spring and the autumn and whatever, and they all just looked beautiful. But for some reason, this Christmas one, this one that's called the Celtic Christmas, spoke to me. And me being new to the LNS and that whole world of stuff, I didn't feel up to the challenge, I guess you could say. I was a little intimidated, right? So I loved her. My husband told me, you know, ask if they've got the pattern, see if they've got it. And I'm like, no. If they have the pattern and I come across it, you know, great. If not, it wasn't meant to be. I'm not going to go out of my way. I'm just a nobody in this crafting world, whatever. I'm not going to ask. I'm not going to bug them. Not going to do it. Well, moral of the story, I didn't find her there, right? I didn't find the pattern. Now, they had, I don't know, thousands of patterns. I mean, it's possible it was there and I just didn't come across it. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Fast forward to now, I finished a Mirabilia. I've done a lot of Quakers and several other things. And I saw somebody else finish her online, I think on Instagram. Saw somebody else finish her. Instantly had that, like, desire, like, I have to have her. Like, it's not even a question of if I find her, I'm going to buy her. It was, I have to have her. I have to buy her. So I went perusing around the interwebs and luckily came across a seller on eBay who is selling her pretty close to basically sticker price, I guess. Brand new chart, sealed in the package, never been out, and got her for, you know, $13 or whatever. Not too bad, right? So this one's highly coveted in my heart right now, and I do look greatly forward to stitching her because she's quite beautiful. So, long story for such a pretty small pattern, like it's packaged small. I mean, she's a big girl. Then the last one that I bought, I saw somebody else, and I'm so sorry, I should take notes on these things when I find these things. I saw somebody else working on this, I think on Instagram, and it's called The House That Jack Built 2 by Prairie Moon. And oh my god, I fell in love with that. This one I'm going to dye fabric for myself, but I fell in love with this, and then did a poll on my Instagram if people wanted to see me start this or the summer piece that I found also in the August 2020 magazine, just Cross Stitch magazine. And this one won, I think it was like 80% or 78%. I mean, it was a fairly high margin that this one won. So I'll be starting this one as soon as I get the fabric and the flosses. I did buy the called for flosses, which are all fancy flosses. And then I think I bought called for fabric, except the called for fabric is a 30 count. I think I bought 32 count. But then it calls for Splendor Black Silk 2 cards. I got both of those. I got Grape Juice Crescent Colors and Tortoise Shell Crescent Colors. Also known currently as Classic Colorworks. Never worked with Classic Colorworks, so this will be interesting. So there's that. And I almost forgot. Major purchase. Sitting right here. She ain't gonna get in the frame here. But I got myself a Lowry stand after many years of wanting one. And then just not doing, not breaking down and buying it. I finally got it. I got it in the basic, just the simple silver standard color. Along with it, so I was talking to Victoria Gable and some others in the Virtual Stitches group, and they recommended buying a couple of accessories. So one of them was the light bar accessory. I don't think I need it. I don't foresee myself using the light bar accessory. I may be wrong. I may end up buying it. I also thought about buying the daisy dish that they have, but again, I couldn't necessarily see myself using it currently. But we'll see. There's always time for that. I can buy it later. But the one thing that I did think was a good investment was the extender bar, the long extender bar. So I got that guy. And then I bought the largest adapter, whatever this thing is called, scroll rod adapter. And the reason I bought that is for if I'm doing, the Lavender and Lace, Celtic woman, or whatever. I have this giant 17 by 17 Q-snap. Thank you, FortNite Fabrics. But I've got this giant 17 by 17 Q-snap, and it will fit on this guy, so then I can put it on the stand here. So there's that. So I was so excited. If you are in the market to buy one, now I know I'm pretty late to the game, but if you're in the market to buy one, it was super quick shipping. I think it took all of a week, maybe, probably about a week to get here, if that, from the time I ordered it to the time it showed up. Now, the one thing I will say, and it's got nothing to do with Lowry themselves, it's FedEx. So FedEx is who takes over the shipment, for us in the States. And FedEx used and abused that package. Like, the one end looked like it had been retaped, and it was squished. It looked like an elephant had sat on it, and it had been ran over maybe 2 or 3 times. The stand is fine. The adapter is fine. The rod, the extension rod, is fine. The 2 things that I ordered that Miss Gable told me to go ahead and order because they were so cheap and it would save on shipping was a replacement cotter pin, which goes down here. So this replacement cotter pin, it's like $2 or something, two and some change, and a replacement screw deal here. So they're both 2 something or whatever. So I mean, $4 in total. Saves you on shipping because the shipping is the same for this whole setup versus if I just bought the one thing, it would be the same price, I believe. So anyway, so those 2 were not in the package, and my guess is during transport, because of how abused and used the packaging was, it fell out. I've talked to FedEx and whatever, I'm awaiting to hear back, but there's that. So all in all, super happy with the purchase. I can't believe how much stitching I got done yesterday, because it arrived yesterday, Friday. So if you're watching this, it'll go up Sunday, but I got the stand on Friday. It's Saturday currently. Almost Sunday. It's 11:50 at night. Anyway, love it. Can't believe how much stitching I got done. So, that leads me into whips. So, this is a whip called Frankenstein by Stitchin Book Club, and I need to like crack on this because I started when it first launched, beginning of August, and we have until August 28th to finish the frame, stitching the frame, and then on the 29th the first part comes out. I thought that was kind of cool because my birthday's the 28th, so yay! Like, anyway, I dyed some fabric for it, some greens and stuff and browns, kind of made it look murky and whatnot, because there wasn't any called for flosses or fabric. The prompt was to stitch on a fabric and with flosses that spoke to you about Frankenstein, like that when you saw them you thought of Frankenstein. So this is what I thought of when I thought Frankenstein, because he's kind of like a zombie, right? So, you know, the green and the browns kind of reminded me of like a grave and dirt and earth and that kind of thing. And then I'm stitching it in, what is that color? 3799, so a dark gray, because I think it ties it in, but doesn't like detract from the piece. And it's going to be 37.99 for the whole piece, as far as I understand it. There's not going to be any color changes or anything of that nature. So here's this. I need to crack on, finish this frame, and then finish writing Frankenstein in the center, and then doing the border around the word Frankenstein. So I've gotten a lot done, but need to do more. Right? So there's that, and then I'll show you this one, because this one's gotten me in a sour mood, and it shouldn't, but it has. I'll take it out of the Q-snap because I need to repurpose this Q-snap for something else, because this one is going in timeout for a little bit. And I don't think it's anything that this one did, this pattern or this project did. It's more me. I didn't double check, didn't count, didn't, you know, triple count, whatever. So I'm quite mad. So this is Jardin Privé's Quaker de Noël. Sorry about the creases in the fabric. So Quaker de Noël, beautiful pattern, right? I'm stitching it on, what is that? Vintage Country Mocha linen. I think it's a 32 count, but it could be 28 count. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember, and I don't know if I still have the sticker, so I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's 32 though. I got a lot done. So this weekend, if you follow me on Instagram, this weekend I finished these presents, like on Thursday I think. Had gotten up to do this tree and that star and maybe the deer. But the one deer, I don't think I did both. After getting the frame, or not the frame, the stand, I got all of this, the cabin, the second deer, the Natale, this motif thing. I started doing the candles. I did this tree. A lot of it I did while stitching on virtual stitches. I had my stand over here by me, and I was just cranking away. Like, this stand is something else. Well, then today I come to the realization that the floss I chose, I don't have enough. And there's not a DMC conversion, and it's an overdyed, but it's not an overdyed that is readily available for sale that I know of. Now, if I'm wrong, somebody please correct me in the comments, and I will snatch up another skein. But as far as I know, it's not readily available for repurchase. I got it as a part of the Floss of the Month Club. I don't even know when this shipment went out. I mean, I stopped doing the Floss of the Month Club at least a year ago, if not more. And I stopped for a couple reasons. One, I was going through some things. But two, I had gotten so much floss that I didn't know what to do with the floss from this company. So I needed to kind of like put the brakes on and reevaluate my life. Well, I've been using it for a lot of things. Like there's a lot of whips that I'm using, you know, a skein here, a couple skeins there, whatever. And it's all great until you have an issue like this. So, I shouldn't have put that away. So I'm going to hold this up again. So, I have a motif, oops, that goes down here under Christmas. Or a couple of motifs. I'd have to look at the pattern. At least a couple motifs. And then I have several motifs up in this upper right hand corner, right? You all are going to die when you see how much cloth. Look at that. That ain't going to be enough. Like, that ain't going to be nearly enough. I may be able to finish like the one that's down there under Christmas, like get the couple motifs down there, but I ain't going to be able to get this top left corner, or top right corner rather, completed, right? So I'm in a little bit of a pickle. So the floss, in case you haven't guessed it by now, and I don't know why I haven't said it by now, it's not like it's a big secret, is a Victorian motto sampler shop thread called Christmas Burgundy. Now, funny backstory, so Noah Baker, by the way, has a Flosstube now. If you haven't checked him out, where have you been? I will link him down below. Go check him out. He's done one Flosstube on his own, and then he went and saw Married with Stitches, Derek and Christian, also of FortNite Fabrics. And they did a Flosstube video for their channel with Noah. So anyway, so I'll link him down below. Anyway, so Noah and I, you know, got the pattern fairly similar time frame. I was dragging my heels on what floss to use. I knew the fabric. I knew what fabric I wanted. But I was dragging my heels on what floss. And then I ordered floss, but then it didn't get here because COVID and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff, right? Well, because of COVID, I bought the floss online. It's over here, sorry, just grabbing it. So I bought the floss online, and I was so sure that this was going to be the one for this pattern that I'm like, no, you know, I'll just wait till it gets here. I'll just wait. Meanwhile, Noah's stitching away, and I'm getting jealous and jealous and jealous that he's getting all this great progress, right? So anyway, I get the floss, and it's right here. Beautiful floss, don't get me wrong. It's by Gentle Arts, Simply Shaker thread, in the color Ruby Slipper. Beautiful by itself, right? Has too much orange and browns for my liking. I wanted it to be more like that one, like the Christmas Burgundy. I wanted it to be more Christmassy. Like, I wanted it to remind me of cinnamon and cherries and cranberries and all that kind of stuff, right? Like the Christmassy stuff. So, when I got it, I'm like, okay, well, I'll use that for something else. I'll just keep it in my stash. Not a big deal. I'll use it for something else. So I'm like, oh, the Victorian mottos should be big enough for that pattern, for the skeins. So even though I've got one of, you know, each color, I should be able to find one of the reds or one of the burgundies, and I can do it that way. And if not, I'll just go buy DMC. Well, I pull that one out, and that one, like, instant. Yep, that's it. Christmas Burgundy. And it was decided. I started stitching it and fell in love. I love it with that fabric. Now I'm at the end where I'm like, okay, what do I do? Like, So if I can't get it, I think what I'm going to try to do is take the skein that's remaining to Joann's or Michael's or whatever and compare it with DMC and see if I can't find a DMC that is spot on, that I'm not going to be able to notice, right? And try it that way. Otherwise, I don't know. May have a bonfire, I guess? I don't know. I have no idea. I've put so much time into this pattern that I would hate to have to scrap it and completely restart. But I may have to do that. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts are. If you have a thought that I could do to salvage it, whatever. Anyway, so there's that one. Then I think I only had a couple more, one more whip. I'm not 100% sure. So we got that guy. Oh yeah, a couple more. I knew that. So I'll get them out of my Tula Pink little project bag that I made for myself. Out of Tula Pink Fabrics. I do want to get some more Tula Pink so I can do some more project bags and little like notion bags. The notion bag I'm using right now is a little bee one. I think I've shown you guys before, but it's got a little bee on it. I can show you. Oop, she's in here. So I'll show you. It's a little bee. This says "Be Happy." Has a little zipper on the front. So anyway, there's that. I digress. So this one, do I have a picture? I don't. I don't have the picture on me. Do I have it back here? Let's see. Should have had it ready, huh? Y'all are gonna fire me. Oh, I do have the picture right here. So this one is Jardin Privé Au Pays des Gnomes. Don't kill me, I don't speak French. Basically it means in the land of gnomes. I'm pretty sure is what it means. I'd have to look it up again, but I'm pretty sure it's in the land of gnomes, which I thought was really pretty. I was enabled to buy this from Christian. He was stitching it, got a finish. I fell in love, had to do it myself. This one I'm also doing on Vintage Country Mocha. But instead of linen, I chose to do the Lugana variant. And I am in love with these little men. I gotta finish the second row, and then I have 2 more rows down here, and it'll be done. So there's that one. I'll put that back there. So that's in the land of gnomes. Better put my pattern with it so I know how to work up. And then this one is the All Hallows Eve sampler on Murky by PTP. I am obsessed with this fabric. It's a 32 count PTP Murky. Obsessed. It's beautiful. I go in waves, so sometimes I do Ada. And then sometimes I do linen or even weave. Right now my favorite to stitch on is Lugana, which is an even weave. But I'm enjoying stitching on that linen too, so it just, I go in waves. So this is only a tiny portion of that pattern. All of this is going to be stitched on this side, because this is the row where the witches are on that pattern, and it's literally a mirror image of itself. I am loving this. Myself and Rob from Zav Stitches I'll link him below as well. He is working on this one too. I bought fabric that was pretty much exactly how big it needed to be. It's a little wider than it needs to be, but otherwise, lengthwise, it was exactly how big I needed it from 123 Stitch. And I think it was 123 Stitch that I got it. I started in the top left corner like I always do. I'm always a top left corner starter. And realized that with this fabric, I only had an inch to play with, which would have given me 2 inches top and bottom. So 2 inches up here and 2 inches down here for finishing, framing, whatever. And then I had an extra inch. Well, that scared me. So I frogged everything out in that top left corner and started down in the center because I wanted to make sure that I had absolutely enough fabric. Because I don't want to do something this big and then only to come to find out that joke's on you, you ran out of fabric because you're a dummy. Because I've already done that mistake with the floss, right? I'm a dummy, I'm running out of floss. Dumbass. Like, right? Anyway, not to be negative, it just irks my buttons, and I know many of you probably sympathize and empathize and, you know, been there, done that, whatever. And I know it's not the end of the world, it's just a cross-stitch piece, but at the same time, it's a piece that I love, and I loved stitching on it, and have put, I mean, lots of hours in it, right? So to come across that, it's a little bubble popper, I guess, would be the polite way to put it, right? Anyway, I think that's all I have. I don't have anything else. I didn't really work on anything else. Didn't buy anything else, which is good because that stand cost a pretty penny. I do have more stuff that's coming for that one Prairie Moon pattern. But anyway, yeah. I will try to do these more often because I hate leaving you guys. You guys are amazing. So until next time, I will see you all later. Happy stitching.